wish I wish those on you. um, but it's usually not that important early on. All right. So the things we looked at today, I think, worth looking at a little bit more today if you're thinking about data style mashups. S3 is kind of cool. We talked a lot about how your sites can be popular or not. Alexa, Compete, and Quantcast are three of the most interesting sites to sort of to gauge the popularity of the sites you're interested in, yours and others. None of them are perfectly accurate, but they're probably at least as accurate as the bigger names like ComScore and stuff. And if you interpolate the results that each of them provide, you can get a lot of idea of exactly how popular your site is. I wanted to mention a book, Made to Stick, that was a real revelation for me when I read it. It sort of explained to me, why things like internet memes are popular, even though the book isn't about internet memes per se. But the content in the book really helped me understand a lot better how I can make a website more popular, how I can make a presentation more popular, how I can get my ideas across effectively. So, if you're looking at, building a website that wants to be popular, I definitely heartily recommend it. I think it gives tons of insight on that process. So just to wrap up today, I don't know if there are any questions about the assignment. I know that last night there were some issues about getting test code running in your apps. And one of the reasons that I actually assigned the problem was that I always like trying to get things to do stuff that they weren't meant to do, and running test cases on your app is not usually something that you want to do. For the purposes of this assignment, it's something that I'm asking you to do. So I think that one of the things I've noticed in a lot of successful engineers is that they're always figuring out ways to make stuff do things that they're not supposed to do. And so this is my way of introducing you to that notion. And sort of making it explicit rather than implicit. So I don't normally want you to run your test code in your app, but by figuring out how to do it and looking into the process, you get a deeper sense of what the system is and how you can manipulate it to do the things you want it to do. Okay, so I actually have been talking to some of the students, and these are three of the things that I've actually talked to people about. I don't know if there's anyone who wants to volunteer a project or a project idea or wants to talk about it now, but I'd be happy to hear from you.
So we had a project, me and Ethan here had a project idea that really kind of has an underlying level that we don't have higher level modules yet, but it can fit into a lot of different ideas. And then kind of there's a specification document claim verifier. What we had was two processes, or two modules, one of which stores images of sites and in a data structure so it can preload it up in a Flash format for anybody to view. And then the other side of it was that we made a claim verifying module, or rather we plan to, that can take any claim somebody makes about a particular site or a particular article that's on the internet, and that can be cached into the first module. And the second module takes that and is able to confirm information on a scale of how likely it thinks that something is related to something else within this document. And we've written up some stuff on like how it would go about doing that. The idea is that something like, well, for example, Wikipedia has a problem with its sourcing always being variable, its site disappears, or it's not linked correctly, or it's only human verified and it's verified by somebody who doesn't care. So the idea is to kind of automate some of that. So one idea was to apply this to, say, a course or a major ranking system that goes through and finds out what classes you need for your major and lists them all, and then you can go through and select one or something like some example like that. But we had ideas to use this verification claim, and if someone has a module that would fit well where they need to confirm that data is correct for a user without having a lot of human input.
Anyone else? Any thoughts? Cool.
Might as well throw it out.
Yeah, that's awesome. Now's the time to do it. Anyone else been thinking about something that they'd like to share? Or so again, like the projects aren't a competition, so.
I had very loose idea of creating some sort of system where if you code in Cocoa for your application for the iPhone, you can immediately transport it to BlackBerry or Android or other different platforms. And so I'm still trying to mesh out how I'm going to propose or what type of system it would be. But yeah, I would need a lot of help to kind of read it.
Okay. So it's basically pushing things that are designed for the iPhone platform into other platforms. So a translator that would help that.
Or at least be able to get the general construct of how the application is supposed to flow and be able to transfer that into other applications so you can, I guess, eliminate development across different platforms.
Cool. I'll add that one to my list. Sure.
Just something I've been thinking about a little as an online code editor. So I've been trying to find everything that I do on my desktop and find replacements for it online, and I found most of that except for Eclipse. I can't use Eclipse or anything like it online. I'd be interested in making something like that. I think there's a lot of interesting things you can do.
Wow.
There's obvious collaboration issues you can do with that, but then just the fact that you have a distributed server running that means that you could potentially run a lot of static analysis and compilation tools on it and give you a lot of power. So that's just a tool that would be really useful to me that doesn't really exist. Mozilla's Bespin project is related. But
Right. Cool. I like that idea a lot. Not something we can complete in a quarter, but I bet you Google's probably interested in stuff like that too. Cool. I know we've run over at this point, but thanks everybody for participating. Please come this way if you want to talk one-on-one about some of those projects as well. Cool. And see you on Thursday.